Do you find yourself wanting a new challenge in FM22? Have you run out of ideas of what to do for a save, or do you just want that one save that will take you through right to the release of FM23? Something that will consume every minute of your playing time and keep you occupied whenever you have a moment to play Football Manager. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 FM22 save ideas. Number 1, and maybe the longest and hardest challenge on this list, is the Pentagon challenge. Pentagon challenge consists of trying to win the top continental competition in all 5 playable contents in FM22. So for example, in Europe, you're going to want to win the Champions League. In South America, that would be the Copa Libertadores. For this challenge, you need to start with no coaching badges and Sunday League football experience. The good thing about this save is it does allow you to play in all sorts of different leagues you wouldn't normally play in. It also allows you to set some sort of difficulty rating to FM22. Maybe it would make sense for an easier save you to start in the easier, less reputable leagues, but equally if you want a really difficult save, you can start with no coaching badges and start in England and go on try to win the Champions League before you win everything else. It is completely up to you how you play this save. And if you want to make it really difficult, if you're really a glutton for punishment, then my suggestion to make it extra difficult as well is to try and win each continental competition with a club that has never ever won it before. Save idea number 2 is a classic, the Journeyman challenge. Currently a save I am doing on the channel. I'm currently with my second club, Barnsley FC. Come over, hit the subscribe button, have a look at that one if you're interested in this type of save. The idea with this one is to win the highest domestic league and continental competition in the country of your choice. So for example, in England, that would again be the Premier League and the European Champions League. Again, you've got to start unemployed with no coaching badges and only Sunday League footballing experience. You also want to be starting in the lowest playable league in your country. So in England, for example, that would be the Vanarama North or South League. You then have to take the first job that is offered to you as well. And from there, it's all about working your way up to the top of the footballing ladder. Like every other save though, there's a bunch of different parameters you can set to make this easier or difficult depending on how you want to play the game. For example, you could set the parameter to never apply for jobs if you're already in a management position, instead waiting for job offers to come in order to be able to jump to a different club. If you want to make it really difficult as well, you can use the Steam Workshop to add a bunch of different leagues into your game. So in England, you could go right down to a tier 10 using a database. And from there, you've got to start in the bottom league, remember. So it's now 10 leagues to climb up before you get to the Premier League, and with no coaching badges, that could be very, very difficult. You can also try and add some realism to the save, which is what I'm attempting to do in my Journeyman, and for that, you're just trying to do things like you would in real life. So I started with the club closest to my house. I try not to make a move if it doesn't make any sense. For example, I live in Devon, so unless there's a very, very substantial pay bump, I'm unlikely to take a job in, let's say, Spain or Germany, because it would cost me a lot of money to relocate. Equally, I don't know lots of people that work within football, so if I want to hire staff, I can only do it through job adverts, because that's exactly how I would find people in real life, by chucking a job advert up on Indeed and hoping that somebody on Indeed is an actual football scout. This save does have the potential then to be quite long if you do want it to, maybe not quite as long as the Pentagon challenge, but equally it could keep you occupied all the way through to FM23 if you do it correctly, and I guess it does depend how many hours you're going to be ploughing in from now until then. Save idea number 3 is the homegrown challenge. Now for this one, think Athletic Bilbao and apply it to whatever club it is that you choose. Pick a team and establish an area from which all of your players must come from. The smaller the area, obviously, the harder the challenge. This save can range in difficulty depending on what area you choose and also what club you choose. To use Manchester United as an example, you could choose to only use players from Manchester, but if you want to make it a bit easier, you could make your catchment area the entirety of England and only go for English players. The thing is as well, with somewhere like Manchester United, regardless of how you think their form is at the moment, you're always going to attract a certain caliber of players. You're definitely always going to attract players at least. For a really difficult challenge, you want to go down the leagues a little bit. For example, can you go on and win the Premier League using only Exeter and only employing players players from Devon. And if you don't like this idea, you can always go down the opposing route, which is to have every player in your squad have a different nationality. Now for this one, it basically means that every player outside of your homegrown quota has to be of a different nationality. So you can have one Frenchman, one Spaniard, one Brazilian, but no more than one of each nationality. Save number 4 is the Youth Development or Youth Academy Challenge. Now for this one, it's basically who says you can't win anything with kids? Prove that you can with a transfer policy that only allows you to sign players under a certain age. In an ideal world, you do want this age to be 18 or under, because then if you sign those players at that point, they will all eventually become club-grown players, because they will have trained with you for a minimum of 3 years between the age of 18 and 21. The idea with this is that you eventually end up with a team of homegrown players at your disposal. This save idea is perfect for those among us who love nothing better than searching for wonder kids and buying them all up. If you do want help, of course, developing your wonder kids, check out my video that's at the top of the page now, where I teach you how to develop your youth players on FM22. And the final save idea is the Director of Football Challenge. Now this one's a bit of a different one. We all love our transfers, but what if you just never made any? In the Director of Football Challenge, you will never make any signings, instead leaving them all up to your Director of Football. Got a gap at right back at your club? You better hope the Director of Football sees it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a struggle for you for the rest of the season. This has the potential to be a super fun save as well, because you end up using tactics you'd never think of using, purely because your Director of Football hasn't bought any players in the positions you'd normally use. It might also mean you end up needing to focus on maybe a bit of youth development and developing your players and bringing in the best coaches possible. So when you do get a player, you can turn him into the best player possible and hopefully retain him, just in case your Director of Football decides to splurge all of your money on an absolutely useless 18-year-old that has zero potential. So that's 5 possible save ideas for you to try in FM22. All of these have the potential to have a different amount of longevity, but could keep you settled all the way through to FM23. And if that's not enough for you, you could always try combining some of the saves as well. Can you complete a Pentagon challenge by only buying players under the age of 21, for example? You can combine these in a variety of ways. Comment down below and let me know what's your favourite save on this list, which ones are you going to try out, and have you tried any of them before? And if you haven't already, check out some of the other videos on the channel and hit the subscribe button. It does really help out the channel. It's very much appreciated, and we've got a bunch of videos like these, as well as the Journeyman I mentioned earlier, for you to follow along with. Thank you very much for watching though, guys, and until next time, why not check out the video on the screen now?